Shalom, 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 brothers and sisters. This is your brother Kazak Yah, and we're going to address something that's really been an ongoing issue amongst Israelites that have come to the knowledge that they are Israelites. And the first thing that they ask is, well, you can't keep the whole law. You know, the 600 plus laws. If you fall short upon one law, then you're guilty of all. And they take that to mean that you don't have to keep the law. Okay. We might address that passage. We may not, but what I want to say with regards to that is not saying to not keep the law, because there, if you fall short on one part, you're guilty of all, means you don't do nothing. That's like saying there are laws, legislation has passed all kinds of laws, some of them that we know about, some that we don't know about. But because you don't know about those laws, you can't just go ahead and violate those laws and say, well, I don't have to keep those laws because I don't know about those laws. There are too many laws to keep up with. So I'm just going to do what I want to do. See, it don't work that way in the government of this world. And it does not work that way in the government of Yah. So what we're going to do is we're going to address this question, why we don't keep the sacrifices, why we don't sacrifice. OK, that's a popular question. Well, when did you sacrifice today? You're supposed to sacrifice. We're going to address that in this lesson. Why? At first, we're going to nip that in the bud, and then we're going to deal with the different sacrifices, and then we'll be able to have a better understanding as far as to why Hebrew Israelites do not sacrifice bulls and goats and lambs. Okay. So we're going to start in Deuteronomy 12. Deuteronomy 12. And we're going to start right at verse 1. My Ishis is here with me this Shabbat. She's going to read for me. And I look kind of a little overdressed because I woke up this morning feeling a little under the weather. So I got a little extra clothing on. Now I'm starting to sweat, but I might come out of it before I get finished with this video. Okay, but anyway, be that as it may, we can go ahead and start off with Deuteronomy 12 and verse 1.
These are the statutes and judgments which ye shall observe to do in the land which Yah your Elohim of your fathers give thee to possess it, all the days that ye live upon the earth.
Stop. That verse there puts the nail in the coffin. But we're going to let the rest of the chapter explain itself. But what we see in this, we learn in school, we learn English, right? The first paragraph generally gives the idea of what the whole dissertation is about. So if we look at the first verse, what we just read, the Most High said, the statutes, right, and the judgments, right, which you shall observe to do in the land which Yah of thy fathers give unto thee to possess it. Right? So the laws that the Most High gave, there are certain laws that he gave that are governed by the land that the Most High gave us. So what you're saying, brother? I'm saying that some of these laws are not applicable in the lands of captivity because there's a specific instruction of how these laws are to be carried out. Okay? Got that part? All right, let's go on now. Verse 2.
Ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess serve their deities, upon the high mountains, upon the hills, and under every green tree. And ye shall overthrow their altars, and break their pillars, and burn their groves with fire. And ye shall hoe down the graven images of their deities, and destroy the names of them out of that place. Ye shall not do so unto Yah your Elohim, but unto the place which Yah your Elohim shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there, even unto his habitation shall ye seek, and thither thou shalt come.
See that? Stop there. So he says, in verse 5, but unto the place, there's a specific place which Yah shall choose, right? Out of all your tribes to put his name there. So now you see, so if he said the land in verse 1 that I shall give you to possess, and then he said in the land, he said in the place where he shall choose to put his name there out of all the tribes, right? Okay, go ahead.
And thither ye shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices and your tithes and heave offerings of your hand and your vows and your free will offerings and the firstlings of your herds and your flocks.
Okay, stop there. So now, he's specific. He said, in the place where he chooses to put his name there among your tribes is where you are going to bring your burnt offerings, right? Your sacrifices, right? Your tithes, right? Your heave offerings of your hand and your vows and your free will offerings and the firstlings of your herds and of your flocks. So you're talking about that 10%, right? Everything that the Most High said, all the sacrifices are governed. Hear me now. We don't offer sacrifices now because the sacrifices are governed by the land in the place where Yah shall choose to put his name there. Okay? Are we clear on that? Okay, go ahead, continue to read.
And there ye shall eat before Yah your Elohim, and ye shall rejoice in all that ye put your hand unto, ye and your households, wherein Yah your Elohim hath blessed thee. Ye shall not do after all the things that we do here this day. Every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes. For ye are not as yet come to the rest and to the inheritance which Yah your Elohim giveth you.
Okay, stop. I gotta say something there. Verse 8 says, you shall not do after all the things that we do here this day. Every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes. How often do we hear people say that? Well, brother, it don't mean that to me. It means something different to me. Everybody has a different revelation. Everybody has a different. No, it's only one. The Most High gave it right here. It's only one. Ain't no bunch of different variations and versions. It's not your interpretation. It's what thus saith Yah. Okay? All right, go ahead.
Verse 10. But when ye go over Jordan and dwell in the land which Yah your Elohim giveth to you for an inheritance, and when he giveth you rest from all your enemies round about, so that ye dwell in safety, then there shall be a place which Yah your Elohim shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. Thither shall ye bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, your heave offerings of your hand, and all your choice vows which ye vow unto Yah.
Okay, stop. So you're not supposed to be collecting tithes, offerings, none of the above. Send me an email, askmalachiah@gmail.com. On the basis of what the Most High said here, all that's supposed to be done in the place where he chooses to put his name there. But you want to build your empire and you want to impose upon people to pay 10% of their salary and all of that. But then the first thing you want to jump up and say is, we're not under the law. We're under grace now. We're in the New Testament. All right, go ahead.
Verse 12. And ye shall rejoice before Yah your Elohim, ye and your sons and your daughters and your men servants and your maid servants and the Levite that is within your gates, for as much as he hath no part nor inheritance with you. Take heed to thyself that thou offer not thy burnt offerings in every place that thou seest.
Read that again, please.
Take heed to thyself that thou offer not thy burnt offerings in every place that thou seest.
One more time.
Take heed to thyself that thou offer not thy burnt offerings in every place that thou seest.
See that? We're not supposed to offer no burnt offering in every place that our eyes see. That's why we don't keep the sacrifices. Okay? Because the sacrifices are specific to the land and to the place where the Most High chooses to put his name there. Okay. Now we're going to deal with, we do offer sacrifices in a different way. Okay. Which the Most High permits that. He has permitted that. We're not going to deal with that right now. But we do offer sacrifices, the spiritual sacrifices, which are acceptable unto the Most High. Right. Okay. Where you at? Verse 14.
But in the place which Yah shall choose in one of thy tribes, there thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings, and there thou shalt do all that I command thee. Notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, according to the blessing of Yah thy Elohim, which he hath given thee. The unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck and as of the hart.
Okay, what did you get out of that? Did you get that they can eat clean and unclean meats? Because somebody tried to use that to say, oh, see, it said right there, they can eat clean and unclean. That's not what that said. It may look like that, but that's not what that's saying. Okay, that's another lesson. But basically, if you read that, okay, let's look at it carefully, right? Was that 15? Notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates, whatsoever thou soul lusteth after, according to the blessings of Yah thy Elohim. See, key is according to the blessings of Yah. So what am I saying? If Yah didn't bless it, you're not going to do it. So if he didn't bless the swine, right? If he didn't bless the scavengers, the shrimps and the lobsters and the oysters, clams and mussels and octopus and whatever else you want to eat, catfish. It said according to the blessings. That's what it says. If y'all didn't bless it, then let me use my best English. You ain't got no business eating it. All right, go ahead.
Only ye shall not eat the blood. Ye shall pour it upon the earth as water. Thou mayest not eat within thy gates the tithe of thy corn, thy wine, or of thy oil, or the firstlings of thy herds or of thy flock, nor any of thy vows which thou vowest, nor thy free will offerings or heave offering of thine hand. But thou must eat them before Yah thy Elohim in the place which Yah thy Elohim shall choose.
What verse was that?
Verse 18.
It's in the place where Yah shall choose. He says it. Keep saying it over and over again. Okay, go ahead.
Thou and thy son and thy daughter and thy manservant and thy maidservant and the Levite that is within thy gates, and thou shalt rejoice before Yah thy Elohim in all that thou puttest thine hands unto. Take heed to thyself that thou forsake not the Levite as long as thou livest upon the earth.
Okay, stop. Now, the sacrifices also was done so that people could eat. It's called a meat slaughterhouse. You know, you go to your local Publix, Acme, Food Lion, what else? ShopRite, Redner's, Walmart, Super Walmart, where you go to get your meat. Where does that meat come from? It comes from a slaughterhouse, right? So in Israel, when they would sacrifice these animals, that was so that people could eat. But the Most High was telling them how to slaughter the animals so that you won't get sick and have all kinds of diseases. And he was telling them what to eat, because remember that they had came out with this thing called the mad cow disease, right? They was feeding cows human, not human flesh. They were feeding cows flesh, and the cows got sick, and people was getting sick from eating steaks, because the cows eat vegetation and not meat, but they was feeding the cows meat, and people was getting sick from eating cows that they were feeding, putting meat in the cows' food to make the cows lean, right? So the Most High, when he gave them a specific instruction of what to eat and how to prepare it. It was so that the curse of sin wouldn't amplify or magnify itself to cause people to die prematurely, right? That's the reason why we die prematurely, because we eat the thing that the Most High told us not to do. We don't prepare it the way the Most High tells us to prepare. You ever go somewhere and eat out, and then you come home and within a few hours you're starting to feel sick? It's because they didn't prepare that food according to Yah's law. They crossing the clean with the unclean, and those of us who eat clean go home and sometimes you get some type of poison because that stuff, they done mixed it and your body is reacting to the poison that they put in the food. Okay, all right, where we at?
Verse 20. When Yah thy Elohim shall enlarge thy border, as he hath promised thee, and thou shalt say, I will eat flesh, because thy soul longeth to eat flesh. Thou mayest eat flesh, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. If the place which Yah thy Elohim hath chosen to put his name there be too far from thee, then thou shalt kill of thy herd and of thy flock, which Yah hath given thee, as I have commanded thee, and thou shalt eat in thy gates whatsoever thy soul lusteth after.
See that? Talking about eating, right? So he said, okay, you're not in the place where he put his name, but you can go ahead and kill that, because the Most High knew what? That we needed to eat. Okay, go ahead.
Even as the roebuck and the hart is eaten, so thou shalt eat them. The unclean and the clean shall eat of them alike.
See that? Now, notice what he did not say. You shall eat the clean and the unclean. But he said, the unclean and the clean shall eat of them. So in other words, so for example, you're raising a pig, right? That's an unclean animal. So whatever you prepared to feed those livestock, there's certain food that they gave. They gave scrap and everything else to the pig, right? But Israel didn't eat the pig. Then they had certain food that they gave, that they fed to the cows and to the goats and to the lambs and to the bullocks and so forth and so on, right? Unto the reindeers, or the deers, I should say, right? That those clean and unclean animals would eat. The birds that ate the scavengers, they had their part in eating things that they could eat, that the Most High told them, okay, you can kill this and give it to the birds, right? That's all it's talking about. It's not talking about eating unclean meat. Okay, go ahead.
Only be sure that thou eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, and thou mayest not eat the life with the flesh. Thou shalt not eat it, thou shalt pour it upon the earth as water. Thou shalt not eat it, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, when thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of Yah. So
that's why we don't eat food that's got red blood running through it. Although it may taste good, but the Most High said it's not good. You know, it's not good for you. Okay, go ahead.
Only thy holy things which thou hast, and thy vows thou shalt take, and go unto the place which Yah shall choose. And thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings, the flesh and the blood, upon the altar of Yah thy Elohim. And the blood of thy sacrifices shall be poured out upon the altar of Yah thy Elohim, and thou shalt eat the flesh. Observe and hear all these words which I command thee, that it may go well with thee, with thy children after thee forever, when thou doest that which is good and right in the sight of Yah thy Elohim. When Yah thy Elohim shall cut off the nations from before thee, whither thou goest to possess them, and thou succeedest them, and dwellest in their land. Take heed to thyself that thou be not snared by following them, after that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their deities, saying, how did these nations serve their deities? Even so will I do likewise. Thou shalt not do so unto Yah thy Elohim, for every abomination to Yah which he hateth have they done unto their deities. For even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their deities. What things soever I command you, observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereunto, nor diminish from it.
See that? Okay, that's good. So, prayerfully, you got the understanding now why we don't offer sacrifices. Okay. We're going to read number 6, verse 22 through 27, right?
And Yah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Yah bless thee and keep thee. Yah make his face shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee. Yah lift up his countenance upon thee, and give thee peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them.
See that? So the Most High told the priests to do what? To bless the children of Israel. And say, Yah bless thee and keep thee. Right? Yah bless thee and keep thee, and Yah make his face to shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee. And Yah lifted up his countenance upon thee, and gave thee peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. So now, why did I pull that out? Okay, because I mentioned earlier that we keep sacrifices in captivity, but in a different way. We don't use the animals. Okay, just says the Most High was specific to us not offering or killing the animals, right? But he also gave us permission to slaughter animals for us to eat if the way was too far for us to go. But we don't sacrifice the animals as a sacrifice, burnt offerings and all of that. Okay, but we offer ourselves a sacrifice, right? So Ezekiel 11, okay, start at 14, read down to 17.
Again the word of Yah came unto me, saying, Son of man, thy brethren, even thy brethren, the men of thy kindred, and all the house of Israel, holy, are they unto whom the inhabitants of Jerusalem have said, Get ye far from Yah, unto us is this land given in possession. Therefore say, Thus saith Yah thy Elohim, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. Therefore say, Thus saith Yah, I will even gather you from the people, and assemble you out of the countries where ye have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel.
Okay, that's good. See that? So now the Most High knew, right, that we will be scattered into the lands of the heathens. So he gave a provision. Because some would say, well, we're not in Israel, so we're not supposed to keep the Sabbath day and all of that. Most High put his name on the children of Israel. He already spoke it in the book of Deuteronomy before the Israelite nation was even established. It said, you're going to go into these lands of captivity, into your enemy's land, right? And when you get there, I'm going to be a little sanctuary to you in the places where you go. That's why when that 7th day come around, all of those who are covenant Israelites, we suit up and we find ourselves in position, okay, to do what the Most High has commanded us to do, right? Okay, now let's go to John Yachanan, chapter 4. Start at verse 7.
There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Yahshua saith unto her, Give me to drink, for his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that thou, being a Jew, asketh drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Yahshua answered and said unto her, If thou knowest the gift of Yah, and who it is that saith to thee, give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water.
Now, let me just add a correction there. Let's erase that term Jew. This is not talking about the Jews. Okay? It's talking about the tribe of Yehuda, who was in the land of Israel during the Messiah's day. So when we see that word Jew, let's just call it Yehuda. And then that way we'll, because people have a picture in their mind when they hear that word Jew, they think of those people with the black hats and with the little curly cues around the ears. So no, this is talking about the people of the city of Yehuda, or the Yahudim. Okay, all right, good. So you can say Yehuda, or you can say Yahudim, or you can even say Israel. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 11. The woman saith unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself, and his children, and his cattle? Yahshua answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. The woman saith unto him, Sir, give me this water, that I thirst not, neither come thither to draw. Yahshua said unto her, Go, call thy husband, and come hither. The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Yahshua said unto her, Thou hast well said, I have no husband. For thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband. In that saidest thou truly. The woman saith unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship.
Okay, stop there. So now she was wrong already, because the Father told Israel there was a specific place that they would do the sacrifices. And we haven't given you that the place. Okay, so keep in mind we're gonna give you that, but we already know the answer. But we're just walking it down, walking it slow. All right. So the woman said, "Our fathers said, our fathers." What did she say? Woman said, "Our fathers."
20. Worshipped.
Our fathers worshiped in the mountain. The Most High never told Israel to worship in the mountain. That was in Samaria. The Hebrew word name for it is called Shumron. But she said, but you say Jerusalem. Okay. Now, that's the place that the Father put his name there, in Jerusalem, right? And in the temple, right, that Solomon built, that David wasn't able to build. That's where the Most High, he made that the place where, because during the days of Moshe, they would take that tabernacle, portable sanctuary, and move it until they got to the promised land. And once they got to the promised land, they built the temple where all of these sacrifices and different vows and etc. that the Most High told them was only to be offered in that place, right? Not in the mountains, right? Now watch what Yahshua tells the woman.
And Yahshua saith unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship ye not what we know, what we worship, for salvation is of Judah. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him.
Okay.
Yah is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth.
So even the Messiah said, the time is going to come when you are not going to worship me in the mountain as they worshiped, or in Jerusalem, right? But the Father is seeking for those to worship him in spirit and in truth. So what is that saying? To worship him in spirit. How do you worship the Most High in spirit? Right? We don't have to go there, but the fruit of the Spirit. Isn't that what Shaul said in Galatians 5? The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, goodness, meekness, gentleness, temperance, faith, etc. That's worshiping the Father in spirit. Okay? That's the spiritual destination that the Most High wanted us to get from the truth, which is the law. The law is, it still is, not was, it is the schoolmaster. When we look at the law teaches us how to worship the Father and how to have a relationship with those brothers and sisters on the face of the earth. That's what the law does. And so the law gives us the instructions of how to be spiritual, which is the fruit of the Spirit, walking in the fruit of the Spirit. Okay? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So you can't attack the law, which is the schoolmaster, which is designed to teach us how to love Yah first and how to love thy neighbor as thyself. Because we got people always saying, look, the new commandment is love. Love is not a new commandment. The Most High in Exodus 20 said, visiting the iniquities of the father unto the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, right? And keep my commandments. That's the love. That's what the fruit of the Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit is to show the Father's love to us, and that's why he offered the sacrificial system, and is to show our love to him by obeying him.